Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we're going to be talking about the upcoming brand new PlayStation 6 console and how it's going to be probably one of the bigger and best consoles on the market. Now, it's kind of a big duh because brand new iterations means brand new consoles, which means brand new updates, which means brand new internals, which means brand new trying to go get better than the prior PlayStation 5 or PlayStation 5 Pro. But it's kind of fun to go and see because we saw a little bit of leakage and a little bit of rumors when it came to that, when it came to the Xbox, where they might actually have their own delays ongoing too as well with their own console. We may go cover that maybe throughout this weekend for the Xbox 2 because basically the Xbox Pro or Xbox 2 might have a little bit more extra delays we talked about a little bit, but that also with all the negative news when it comes to Xbox means it's going to be good news for the PlayStation 6 whenever that does go and come on out. Now granted it will take a little bit of time, but usually these consoles and development cycles, research cycles and all of that do go take at least a little bit of time when it comes to making stuff, doing stuff, because well, you have to physically research it, you have to go price it out, you have to market it, you have to go and basically almost do Legos and try to put the consoles together many times until you find the optimal strategy. So right now obviously things are in the works, but they will be very far off. So make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on as we go throughout the video. We have the Twitter and Twitch link down below. If you guys want to, we'll be doing a pretty fun drinking celebration stream up on Twitch. That'll be linked down below in a little bit, so when the notifications are just go hang out over there, and let's go and dive on into the video itself. So as I mentioned, the PlayStation 6 is going to be happening at some point. It's always going to happen. The console's going to be happening. People like consoles. It's good news. So when it comes to this one, we do see that the PlayStation is, well, planned to be the most powerful console of its generation. And right now, Sony is only considering AMD. So two things to note. Typically, the Xbox tries to one up the PlayStation a little bit. Most of the time, even right now with the Xbox Series X, the specs are just very slightly better. Just very, very slightly. They're very similar, almost one-to-one, and AMD is basically making both the PlayStation and Xbox. So right now, AMD is kind of like the, hey, I'll help you guys out. Hey, I'll help you out for both Xbox and PlayStation, and then as that goes and happens, it's pretty much almost the same product in terms of internal specs, which makes sense too because you want to make it both profitable in terms of a lower cost to make, but as well you also want to make sure you're able to mass produce it and well also have comparable specs. So it's kind of like, hey, one guy's going to make you a car, okay, another company wants a car. The car is going to be pretty similar at the end of the day because that one company kind of knows you want to make it cheap, easy, affordable, mass producible, and at the same time be applicable towards the consoles. But right now the PlayStation 6 seems like it's be even bigger. Now, usually, like I said, the PlayStation's typically slightly worse spec-wise, very, very slightly, but it seems like Sony might want to try to focus and go a little more all-in on their upcoming PlayStation 6 console whenever it does come out. Saying Sony is planning to make the PlayStation 6 the most powerful console on the market and the generation, and as such, they're not afraid to take as much time as needed to achieve this goal, which I kind of agree with. I think I'm okay waiting a little bit longer to make sure the product's even better or more affordable. I don't want to wait an extra 6 months or a year or so to make sure it's good. A new video shown by the Red Gaming Tech this week provides some updates not only on Sony's next generation system, but also on the PS5 Pro, which we may cover in a separate video as well. While Sony has yet to announce its mid-generation refresh system, it seems more and more likely the console is indeed releasing, as third-party studios are starting to receive dev kits recently. While this isn't a confirmation that the system is coming 100%, as hardware is canceled all the time, the fact that dev kits are getting shipped out should suggest that Sony is going through its PlayStation 5 upgrade, which will be released earlier on this year. So playing for the PS5 Pro, we can do a little bit more talk on that soon. Although for the PS6, which is more of this video, the system has been in the works for around 1 year so far, and even for me who's been covering these leaks and rumors and all that, I kind of started seeing leaks around a year ago, where we had a chance to cover some stuff, we're kind of seeing some little hush-hush stuff, and while it's definitely a very, very far away, it's fun to go and see that it's starting to work. And as well, right now the specs for everything these consoles already exist. It's more so about the price point and optimization for it. Because think about PCs. PCs right now are on the 4000 series card. If I had to go and equate any type of power level to a console, I'd probably put them into a 3K series for the PS6. If I had to guess, mainly because it'd still be good graphics, 4K, high resolution, high frame rate, but that'd probably be my guess. But the caveat to that is that since it's mass produced and something like an AMD will be making millions upon millions of them, they will usually have a slightly more optimized spec. So it might be similar to the 3K series or maybe even an early let's say a 4060 card, but at the same time when it comes out in a few years, it'll also be way more optimized and also more importantly, way more cheaper and affordable. So right now they're saying a lot of the things like the CPU and RAM haven't been finalized yet, and then Sony though is already in talks with development studios as of now to tweak this system. which is almost assuredly going to be powered by AMD technology, as AMD is the only vendor Sony is considering, according to their Red Gaming Tech. This is somewhat new, as Sony was talking with multiple vendors, including NVIDIA, for its PlayStation 5 before settling on AMD. This also was apparently the same thing too as well with Xbox. Or Xbox was shopping around more namely with Intel, and I believe they also did go hit up NVIDIA. But it kind of makes sense because AMD is just a chip maker, as in they make like, their own graphics cards, their own CPUs, they can work on other various chips. So like they're used to processing, developing, and making stuff. They've also done it for the prior console generations. And that's also, I think, kind of why both of these big companies are trying to fight against each other. Because if you're working with AMD, which is kind of like their specialization, like I think I mentioned my Xbox version of this video, where NVIDIA, it makes sense, but they're kind of focusing on cloud gaming and the PC market, and also like cloud storage hosting, like think like Azure, think like, Amazon AWS, while AMD has been more on like their own consoles, internals, a little bit of hosting, but more so on consoles, their big profit drivers, and then Intel's more been focused on CPUs and also data storage. So they basically all have their own little individual niche. Intel likes more so PCs, NVIDIA GPUs, and then AMD consoles, with all of them kind of like commingling between the three. But it seems like AMD has kind of just been used to it because they've made consoles for prior generations, so they're on top of it. So while the system specifications have yet to be decided, Sony is set on making the PlayStation 6 the most powerful console of its generation, and is thus ready to take things slowly, as the console's release window is said to be, as of now, 2028. So we also still might have the PS5 Pro in the middle. How this goal will be achieved remains unknown, but it is not being said the Japanese company is tripling down on ray tracing and path tracing, and the latter not universally supported due to its massive performance cost, machine learning and AI, especially in regards to NPCs' interactions, to offer innovative and advanced gaming experiences. So this is one kind of big thing to note, is that when it comes to consoles, it really does seem like they're trying to push a little bit more into AI and just basically like any type of machine learning to make all their consoles a little bit more efficient. Whether it comes to the production of the consoles, whether it comes to more of like the making of the consoles, or whether it comes to more of like how they're utilizing the graphics or the environments or their CPUs or APUs to make their consoles run better. So it seems like the future of the PlayStation 6 will have a mixture of a few different things. Number one, in regards to maybe a better GPU, CPU. Obviously, that's a big duh. Like, you're going to have a pretty big graphics jump. You're going to want to make the graphics look nicer. Same thing, too, as well with internals. You want to make everything more efficient. And as well, you want to have maybe slightly better storage, a better SSD for faster loading times, console boot up times, and at the same time, they'll probably be trying to integrate software technology. So that's with more the hardware, ray tracing, path tracing, machine learning type stuff to make it so their consoles work out well. They want to make it so they're having fun. They want to make it so you're like having a good, proper experience. And if they can't go and give that to a one-to-one or long-term development, they'll want to go do that with machine learning. So basically, let's say like you have a console that's going to be a little bit worse than PC. They want to try to make it better for, number one, affordability. Number two, for also in like just efficiency, so optimization for specific PlayStation games or games that are meant specifically built for PlayStation, then ported to console, and obviously for exclusives, and on top of that too, things like ray tracing and all this other various stuff too as well. So as the PlayStation 6 is still far from release, and the PS5 Pro is still unannounced, but is also being worked on too, we have to take everything revealed in this video with a grain of salt. Still, there are definitely some more exciting times ahead as well. Now, I think it's going to be a very, very intriguing thing too, because we saw a video discussing the fact that Xbox might actually be delayed as well, mainly because PlayStation seemed to focus on AMD quicker. Like, they probably shopped around, had some business meetings and discussions, and AMD was ultimately their decision, and they did already like sign the contracts apparently in terms of like leaks, and they're trying to make sure everything's all working well. Now, I came to Xbox, and the Xbox leaks were stating that Xbox actually took a few extra months to see if they had any extra leverage, or if they were able to go and get like a better deal, price, whatever, for other companies such as Intel or NVIDIA as well. But at the same time, I believe they're all focusing once again on AMD, but also leads towards the future of what's going to happen, let's say, on the PS7. So, like, only a few years away for big billion-dollar businesses. That's not a lot. 4 years to go plan the console, develop the console, make the console, the internals of the consoles, test the console, quality assurance, all that type of stuff, design it, etc. It's not that really that long, and it makes sense. But maybe 8 years from now, you can maybe start shopping around and trying to get a better supplier. Think Intel, NVIDIA, or anyone else who may pop up in these chipset markets, or even TSMC if they're not also, invaded. So, a lot of things to go talk about over here when it comes to stuff. So, I hope you guys will sit back, relax, and enjoy for all the future videos coming out. Make sure you guys are subscribed subscribe with the notifications on. We have the Twitter and Twitch stream down below if you guys want to follow. We also have the Webull link, so sign up, deposit a bunch of random money. You guys get a bunch of free stock, withdraw it. And if you guys want to swing by the Twitch stream later on tonight, we'll be doing some fun stuff. So definitely come and swing on by if you guys would like.